Let's do it. Yes. Maximum castage. That's what I like to see. Get all the casters. All right, sweet. At the top right position as the yellow Terran, we will have Flisk. And at the bottom right, as the white Terran, we will have Koget.
Alright. Now, TVT has at least... I don't think any of these players is going to try to be too cheesy, especially on the first map since there's a 4-player spawn. So it's going to be much more difficult to find a location where you want to put your barracks. You could always try to do something like that. I guess it can work, but... I think in TVT, kind of cheeses and rushes are much more, let's say, inefficient than in other matchups because of how easy SCVs, how much damage they do, and that they're quite tanky even against Marines. So yeah, let's see after maybe the first gas where these guys want to go, because there's actually a lot of options in TVT nowadays.
There are. I actually. I personally love watching TVT. A lot of people, I guess, complain about it being kind of a long and slow matchup, but I feel like it's the most strategic matchup in the sense of like when you play the long games that you're like trying to take positions in the middle ground. Here's how I can say it. It's the only matchup where it's actually really important sometimes to take ground in the middle of the map that has no resources, right? Most matchups in most games, you're like, I want to take a base, I want to take an expansion, so I can mine minerals and gas. In TVT, actually, sometimes you're like, I want this, high ground area that has no resources, but is strategically important, so I can like stop his push, stop his dropships, whatever. And I find that very interesting. It actually, it makes me think of the game of Go. I don't know how many Go players there are, but actually, it was recently in the news because of the Google AI beating that Korean master. But it's actually very reminiscent of the game of Go, where it's a lot more about sort of territory taking and positioning instead of straight up fighting.
The thing that I really like about TVT, because I'm with you on this one, I really love watching TVT replays. The main thing that I really like about it, the thing that it reminds me most, is turn-based kind of like strategic games.
Yes.
You do have some more time to make decisions, but if you make a wrong one, the entire game falls apart. So you do have to have a pretty clear mindset about everything you're doing. Not just a good micro move, not just everything. Now, we do see sometimes players, actually going for exactly the same thing, which is interesting. But, yeah, go ahead.
Well, there's actually, the one deviation so far is Koget has not made a Marine, and Flisk has, so, yeah. He delayed his first Marine actually by quite a bit. Continue your thought.
Yeah, okay. So I was thinking about every time that you play any other strategy games, they seem, compared to Brood War, they seem easy, but there are a lot of them that if you make, like, you're confident and you make a mistake, you can still lose. So TVT reminds me a little bit of that.
Yeah.
And it's always good for me to remember that even in like a game like this where you do need skill, you do need micro, you still need that strategical mindset.
Yes, absolutely. Oh man, now that AIs have beaten chess masters and Go masters, we just need one that beats a Brood War master. Then that's the next step. Wait, I think Leaderbot's in the chat. Leaderbot, come on, man. It's up to you now. The next step in AI evolution is an AI that can master the game of Brood War.
Dude, Boxer already talked about this, and he says that it's impossible for an AI to win against a good player in Brood War.
See,
and the reason... Go ahead.
No. Okay, sorry, can you finish the quote?
Okay, he said that the problem is that in Brood War there are a lot of things that you don't know, whereas in Go or other games like that, you see the board. So you have to rely on your instinct and your previous experience as a player to be able to win in Brood War.
Oh, hold that thought. We got a bit of a skirmish going on here. It looks like 2 Marines and an SCV against 2 SCVs and a Marine, and guess what? The one with more SCVs wins because SCVs are OP. That's right. The mineral gathering unit is actually stronger than the fighting unit in this game because, that makes sense. I'm sure if we taught that to an AI, the AI would be like, does not compute, but that's okay because it's Brood War. It's awesome. Oh, and boom. See? That's what I'm talking about. You don't mess with SCVs, man. You don't mess with them.
Yeah.
That's actually a very interesting point. That's very true. That does put, I think, quite a big limitation on what the AI can do. But hey, man, before Deep Blue beat Kasparov, everyone was like, nah, yeah, he's never going to beat the chess grandmasters. And then before AlphaGo, everyone was like, nope, never going to beat... Okay, to be fair, I don't think people said they were never going to beat the Go professionals, but they said I think it was like at least, what, another 10 years off or something? So...
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that in chess and Go, you can actually have enough computing power to do every single move that will happen. So you could at least make always a draw. Like so that's why when a computer plays against a computer, if both play perfectly, you always get a draw. Or the player that starts with the first move usually would win, or something like that, like to that point. So, but I think that you can't do that in Brewer. I don't think that's possible.
Oh man, now I'm so pumped. Lead a bot, please, make a bot that'll destroy Flash or Pisu or whatever. We need this now. We need to show them. Show them the power.
Hold on a second. We've been talking a lot about these things, and there's actually some interesting stuff going on. We see basically vulture on vulture action, and they're going like pretty much the same thing. And because the barracks are everything, this is gonna be kind of weird, because I would say that the player who is going to attack first is the one who's gonna lose.
Yeah, that's actually oftentimes what happens in TVT, because so in the early game TVT, the floating buildings tell you everything, and then in the late game TVT, you have so many comp stats to just scan wherever you want. So I think Day9 even said it once. We're playing TVT, like both players might as well just give each other vision, because they can see everything anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But you know what I love about this game right now is that we're going into Vulture Wars, and I love Vulture Wars, man. This is not something that happens that often in TVT, I'd say. Typically you see, tank, Goliath with dropships, or maybe some Wraith tank type things. But every now and then you see the players go early vultures, and the great thing about early vultures is that when you go for the early vultures, you sort of force the other player to also do that, because if he doesn't, he'll just lose to it. So he has to do the same thing, and then you just get these like giant gangs of crazy bikers roaming around the battlefield, like laying mines everywhere. But then like the enemy vultures don't actually trigger mines, so it doesn't really matter. There's like mines and vultures running around all over the place. It's awesome.
Yeah, my favorite thing about that is the mines, as you mentioned. It's like they're putting mines more for vision than it is actually for explosions. Now, the only thing that I am really interested about, because at some point one of the players will deviate and start making either tanks or even sometimes straight Goliaths, and that's usually okay. Okay, who's coming to fight?
Vulture Wars, where the guns do like no damage, but there's so many guns. Oh god.
Oh, Koget is losing. Okay, get the high ground. Oh, yeah, okay. That's it.
Yep. Flisk has the numbers advantage, so he pushes him back, but with the high ground advantage here, Koget's okay. I just want to point out, by the way, that this wall at Flisk's base, that's an enemy building. that's actually Koget's barracks there. He's just trolling, he's pretending to be part of the wall. And SCB realized, he's like, wait a minute, this shouldn't be here, what's going on?
You know what thing is actually really funny for me? We've been talking about the strategical point of view, and we've got just vulture and vulture.
Oh my god, that's so true.
The caster curse is real. Now, the only thing that I like right now is that we do see now the deviation. So already tanks are being started, and the really interesting thing that I at least would say that is a smart move from this mass vulture thing, you do get a lot of gas that you're not spending. So you can add extra factories relatively early, and you do have enough gas to start pumping good amount of tanks or maybe even upgrades. So it's a good start to go for this. The only problem usually is how well can you transition? Yeah.
Just for anyone who's wondering, like, well, why don't you just go straight tanks, because tanks are pretty good against vultures, right? The problem is just a numbers game. It's just there's so many vultures coming at you that they can easily run it, and in the early game, if you just have like 2 tanks and 2 vultures, it's so easy for the enemy to just run in and do mine surrounds on you and kill you that way. It's not even about like the straight up fighting power. It's just the spider mines that are too strong. And that's also why when you do make the transition into Goliaths and tanks, you need to be a little bit careful when you're moving out, because with all these vultures running around, there are going to be mines all over the place. So if you're not careful when you run out of your base, you can easily just blow yourself up with mines. That's another reason why Goliaths are handy, because they're slightly more responsive than tanks in their shooting time, so they can actually sort of walk over minefields and still clear them.
Yeah, I mean the thing that I always find okay, actually at least for now the third, so it's pretty good for Koget. The thing I really like about this point is usually you do want to add a starport because you can actually Koget did 2 starports.
Yeah.
And he's going for wraiths now. Okay, whoa, mass engagement actually going on.
Oh man, looks like Koget pushing down a little bit. His siege mode is actually finished. It looks like, yeah, the siege mode of Flisk only just started, so can't really engage, but having to back up. He's got his mines in position, though. He doesn't particularly need to hold this position at the front, so he's just going to back off here. And the thing is, he hasn't, I don't think, seen these 2 starports yet, sorry. Yeah, there's no Goliaths in production yet. And this could actually be a pretty huge move by Koget if these come in. If he comes out with like 10 raids and there's no anti-air.
Yeah, although we have to remember that the damage of the 10 raids, where is it going to go? Because you're not going to kill the vultures. And the tanks, yes, they're important, but not at this point. You still have to push through the minefield, which is going to take forever. So what is he actually trying to achieve with them? Because SUVs? I mean, maybe?
Oh man. The raids are finally out. He's actually just gone out with only 3. I think he possibly could have waited for more here. So that might be a bit of a mistake, but let's see how much damage he does. He's going to just go after the SCV lines. It's very, very smart. One thing I also love is that Koget keeps denying this third base here. Look at this, another vulture running in. He keeps blocking the SCVs from building that, so he's really, really being a pain in the butt. Command center for Koget also just now started. He's going to float that over to the 3 o'clock, but look at this, SCV is doing a lot of damage.
Look at that, going in. Flisk is going on with everything. I don't think that's a good idea.
Oh man, he's fighting low ground to high ground. That is generally not a good idea.
And the SCVs are dying real fast now with the amount. Now, Goliaths are out, yes, but the natural is pretty much dry of SCVs at this point.
Oh man, it looks something like 11 SCV kills, maybe 12 between all these raids. And they're still going here, even with a couple of Goliaths out. I don't think they have their range upgrade. So it's going to take them a little while to waddle over here and actually start shooting these raids. Look at this, still going to town on the SCV line. So much damage.
You know, it's actually pretty much... Oh, and the 2 extra vulture... Oh, sorry, 2 extra raids now are running away, but the amount of SCVs right now is 59 for Koget and 30 for Flisk.
Wow, and he's going to block that third again. Look at that. His vulture was killed, but the wraiths just go and take care of it. So even though Flisk started his command center like 2 minutes before Koget's actually going to finish his first. And look at this, Koget is now the one moving out in the middle of the map, but he's going out with only the vultures, no tank support, so he's going to have to... No, the tanks are coming, but they're a little bit behind. He's got to be careful now, because now he's the one on the low ground fighting uphill. But the tanks from Flisk are a little bit further back here, using 1 scan just to get vision there. The wraiths, though, are coming in.
Oh, man. This is very good play for Koget.
Wow, Koget.
That's everywhere.
Yep. That's the beauty of wraiths in this matchup. Oh, looks like some spider mines actually blocking the command center, making it a little off place here. Yeah, it can actually land. And the vultures actually don't trigger this. He needs to either scan this or get some tanks over. Oh, he's just going to build a turret, I guess. Oh no, that's a depot. He has scan. I don't know why he's not scanning that.
Maybe he's more concerned about scanning where his army is going, because I think he does. He dealt a lot of damage.
No, you know the problem? I don't think you get a warning that the command center can't land there. I think he tried to land it there and it didn't work and he didn't realize it. Because you can still click to land if there's a mine there. It just doesn't actually work.
No, it says you can't land on location, I think.
But I mean, when you like it shows the green or red where you can land.
Yeah.
I don't think it's red on mines, is it?
No, it's not red. But I think when you try to land, it says that it's not possible. I think so. It's same as if a unit would move under it. You know?
Yeah. Oh man, these raids.
Yeah. So basically, the raids are really paying for themselves. I gotta say that it's looking really bad right now for Flisk. I don't think he can actually come back to this in this game because he's already given up the center location. At the same time, he's not going to be running around with with vultures anymore because he needs power units like the tanks and the Goliaths. So how is he ever going to get out of that contain? And the Wraiths can still try to find some weaknesses.
Dude, this command center is just not landing. He finally scanned it. He finally scanned it. It's been driving me crazy. All right, good job, SCVs. You did it. Nice. Looks like the third of Flisk is actually up and running. Interestingly, Flisk's third has actually been mining for just a touch longer now because of all that disruption. Why am
Yeah,
I
but no gas though on the third for Flisk, and well, he has a lot of gas right now, but if I remember correctly, usually is the gas with the limiting factors. Although after
Yeah.
losing some SCVs, I'm guessing that, well, not really.
It's actually an interesting situation because I guess Flisk has more gas because he stayed on Vultures for longer and didn't switch to the gas units, and obviously Koget used all his gas to go 3-port Wraith, which was awesome.
You know, I would say that Flisk doesn't have minerals because he lost so many SCVs. Mostly. I mean, I think
That's
the
true as well,
difference,
yes.
because he really lost a lot. He's trying to replenish them. He's building turrets, so...
Why are there 3 exploded buildings inside Koget's base? What was that? Did he just cancel like 3 depots or something?
Maybe.
That's really weird.
He's at, you know, he does have the full supply for him, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, I have no idea. That's just a little bit interesting. Anyway, it looks like Koget taking a 4th base.
The barracks is finally gonna die.
Yep. Taking down that bad boy. And let's see.
How do you get out of this? Like, Flisk definitely has to go across, right? There's no way he's breaking out of this.
It's quite tricky. I mean, at least in TBT, given how turtly it is and how difficult it is to actually attack into siege tanks, you can sort of hold on for a really long time. But it's definitely going to be difficult.
Oh, Koget is actually mentioning that he didn't have enough energy to scan the mines.
Okay.
That's why he couldn't actually do that.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, and it looks like he's also saying it was because he was at 200 supply, as you said, so just canceling those extra defense. Oh man, that's very amusing. He's building double armory as well at the bottom right of his base.
Why not? I mean, at this point, the question is, why don't you basically try to put even some turrets around, you know, try to completely seal off this position so there's just absolutely no way that Flisk can get out. He's gonna try to get out, but he's gonna go for ground.
Oh man, there's a tank line already there. Oh man, there's a tank line already here, man. That's dangerous, and there's mines.
Oh no.
Oh man, and the Raid's coming in here. There was actually a scan, so the Raid's taking some damage. I think they actually need to pull back, but Flisk is not actually going to be able to move out here. He does, of course, want to secure the position so he can take a 4th base, but Koget doing a really nice job just bringing in some tanks reinforcements, sealing this off. If he just stays on this high ground, I think he should be fine. Oh man, Flisk, you can't move in here.
Oh. I mean, I think he knows that this pretty much game over, but he was trying at least to break through, maybe get a little bit lucky to get a 4th.
Yeah, I mean, he sort of has to do something now, but not gonna work. The only thing he's got going for him, I think, is better upgrades. He's got the 1-0 finished, and there's no upgrades yet from Koget. He's just starting it now. He's actually gone straight for ship weapons, actually. Is he going... I can't tell which plating that is. I assume that's ship armor and ship plating.
Yeah.
Is he not getting ground armor or weapons? Okay. Oh, GG from Flisk. It doesn't even matter. Starved out of the game.
Okay, so... wait, what was really the tipping point? Probably the Wraiths, right? Because apart from the Wraiths, it was going pretty equal.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much it. The Wraiths just came out and killed him. I was actually a bit surprised because he came out with just, I think, 3 Wraiths initially. I thought it might have been better to wait for a few more just for the surprise factor. But it turned out not to really matter, actually. He just did plenty of damage, and it took way too long for the Goliaths to come out. And even when they came out, they didn't have that range upgrade, so, you know, it took a while to chase the Wraiths all over the place. But definitely, aside from that, Koget definitely made some good plays, like, you know, sending a couple of Vultures to keep harassing that third, keep it down, and then, you know, using the Wraiths to keep that down again, you know, pulling them back at the right time to deal with tanks. Very, very good, efficient use of the Wraiths in that game.
Yeah, I mean, especially the thing that I think maybe was really questionable was when Flisk tried to go up the ramp and started losing a lot of his units. I think that started to show like he maybe was tilting a little bit because of the Wraith harassment.
I guess, you know, it's not... I hesitate to say he was tilting because in theory that's not a terrible decision because, well, if he's gone for so many raids, then clearly his army must be, his ground army must be much weaker than mine. So
Yeah.
maybe
Okay,
I can make a move.
right.
But obviously, the problem is that defender's advantage for Terran is so high, and you also have high ground against low ground. So even if you have like twice as many tanks as the other guy, you could still potentially lose if you attack.
Yeah. And especially they didn't mostly it was vultures. There were very few tanks for both players, so it's even more risky, I think, to go for that.
Yeah, yeah. So we are in the second game now, all ready to go. It is going to be on Aztec.
All right.
So
Yeah. Nice. Aztec. That's better. That's better.
That's what you were waiting for.
Yep.
All right.